Hi everyone, today we are going to focus on 5th grade lesson 38 of the Elevate curriculum, which is on multiplying fractions by one another. Because this lesson focuses heavy on utilizing the area model as a support, I thought it best to walk you through how to solve some of these questions before we jump into the actual curriculum. Okay, so the first question that we are going to work on is 3/4 times 1/3. And the first thing that I want to do is to model 3/4 in my area model. Because I know that my unit is fourths, I am going to go ahead and partition this area model into fourths using vertical lines. And then shade in 3/4 of those. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to also model 1/3 in this same area model. However, in order to do so, I need to first figure out my unit, which is thirds. I need to now partition the same area model into thirds. I am going to show that using horizontal lines now. Because I'm going to partition it into thirds, I only need to draw 2 lines. Why 2 lines? Because this is, why 2 lines? Because this is 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. 2 lines will partition into thirds, okay? Then in order to model 1/3, or model that 1/3 of this figure is shaded, I am going to go ahead and shade in 1/3. Please notice that there is an overlap in color. There is an overlap here, here, and here. 3 of these parts have an overlap in color. Yellow plus blue make green, so we could say that 3 of these are green, and then I have a total of 12 parts. So my answer is 3/12. My product is 3/12, right? By the end of this lesson, students are going to have to know how to solve without using the area model as well. So we just teach them to multiply across. Multiply the numerators together. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So we know that our work is correct. I am going to go ahead and model one more for you. But on your own, I would love to see you model the other 2. I'm going to do number 4 with you. Feel free to pause the video as we go through these questions to see if you get the same answer that I get for number 4. So I know that my first fraction is 4/5. Unit is fifths. So I want to partition the area model first into fifths. I'm going to draw 4 lines in order to partition it into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and shade in 4 of those fifths. Why is we doing that? Sorry, you guys. Okay, now I want to account for my second fraction, which is 1/2. I want to partition this same area model into halves. So I'm going to use 1 line to partition it into 2 parts and shade in 1 of those parts using blue because I want to see what overlaps to give me green. Nice. I notice that 1, 2, 3, 4 parts are overlapping in green, and I also know that there are a total of 10 parts. So my answer is 4/10. In order to check whether my product is correct, I can go ahead and multiply my numerators together. 4 times 1 is 4. And then multiply my denominators together. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay? So for this lesson, you are going to go ahead and bring students first to this question right here and talk them through it for about 7 minutes. It is a lot of steps. The beauty of this lesson is that students are not going to have to partition the area model. All the parts are going to be given to them, so they are just responsible for shading in the correct pieces. So you really want to make sure that you are talking through why you're shading 1/3, why you're shading 3/5, and why you're using different colors and what they should notice about the different colors. Obviously, this is a 30-minute lesson or a 30-minute block. You may not have yellow and blue to make green. You may not have yellow and red to make orange. So students will have to shade in. They could use a pencil and a pen, or they can circle any overlaps that they see. They may use stars to shade in one thing and then use circles to shade in another. There are different ways to show how they overlap. You'll just have to identify how they do it if students can't really visualize it without the colors. But you will model this question for them, just pointing out to them what they need to really pay attention to, okay? And then you also want to model for them the procedural way of doing it using a word problem. So without the area model, what do they need to know? They need to know that they are multiplying the numerators together as well as the denominators together, okay? And then releasing them to work on the next couple of questions by themselves. As you can see, they start out with the area model, then they jump into some procedural ways, then it takes them into word problems. And then you can spend about the last 2 minutes of class going over this question right here.